Hey folks, my name is Drew and I am a psychotherapist here in New York City. And this is 4x4. 4 things every Enneagram 4 needs to know on a specific topic, given by a 4. I am a 4. I am a sexual type, the one-on-one type, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you haven't watched the intro that I did, I'd say go back and check it out. It's just a good overview of what the subtypes are. I'm going to be a bit more specific here and leave out a lot of the base stuff. So we'll get into the details. Now, the sexual subtype, it doesn't mean that we like to get down, although keep that to myself. What we do is we are pretty intense. We're always searching. We're a bit more power hungry than the other 2 subtypes, the social and the self-preserving. We're a bit more competitive, a bit more possessive. Rivalries are not foreign to us. We are considered the dramatic person. So there's another dramatic person I want to introduce you to. His name is Stephen Patrick Morrissey, the lead singer of the Smiths, and his solo work until today, in his 60s. He got me through a lot of tough times in my teens, in my 20s, and beyond. When I was at my lowest of my lows, I often went to his music to get me through. I consider him one of the 4iest 4s of all, as Joseph Campbell says in the Hero's Journey, that there is certain people who descend into darkness, into the crooked lanes of their spiritual labyrinth. And I feel like Morrissey has done that. He shows us both the light and the dark, what's inflamed inside of us, what's swollen inside of us. And he's a good profile, I think, for what 4s can look to understand themselves. Because music fuels us. And as Bruce Springsteen says, I always say this, the best music is essentially there to help us get through life, to face life. And so I want to use art to help us get grounded and to encourage you to see how your Enneagram subtype and your Enneagram are represented in art. So if we get into the subtypes and we get into the sexual type, we struggled like the other 4s. We often feel incomplete, unworthy, that we have a loss of appeal, that we won't be, sexy enough for people. But we're also the sexual type looking for closeness, sharing, intimacy, maybe a more deliberate way, one-on-one, in a pair. We want to find those people that strike our fancy, and we will do that with a certain amount of feist, a certain amount of finesse. We can be comforting and challenging at the same time, discomforting and hopeful at the same time. We could be the nicest asshole. We can be the most other-centered narcissists. And when we are hurt, we can be vindictive. When we're in a good place with you, we can be super loyal. Now, I like the quote by Oscar Wilde that says, "I put all my genius into my life. I only put my talent into my work." I feel like that is the sexual subtype. They are intense about themselves, which is why this feels kind of like my birthday getting to teach about this right now. I get excited, one, talking about me, because I am a little narcissistic, at least self-involved. But I also love helping people, especially the sexual type, because I relate so much, understand those crooked lanes, that deep labyrinth, where they feel broken, misunderstood, angry, possessive, that ugliness they feel inside. Maybe you feel inside. That we can work through, that we can find ways to reveal ourselves in a healthy way, to share in a healthy way, to get close with people, and really reckon with our rejection, with the ugliness we feel on the outside and on the inside. Now, we all feel shame. Often the sexual type can be shameless. They can be aggressive. They can be opportunists. They can get what they want. They can ask for what they want a little bit more assertively than the other two types. And so we have this good stuff and this bad stuff, and we have to work on how to manage it. Now, another great thing about us is we are super engaged. If you were to meet us at a party, you'd probably feel like you could talk about anything. We were locked in. Whether you harbor hate, anger, lust, we can deal with it. Spite, pillaging, plundering, desperation, despair, rape, murder, hope, death, life, truth, lust, love, loss. We can handle it. There is not much that scares the sexual four emotionally. We have a broad range, and we're not discomforted by the ugly stuff. So we're often good therapists. We're often good sounding boards for people. People come to us to talk, and we do not hide away. That emotional intensity is towards engagement with the other, towards pairing. But when you hurt us, we could gut you like a fish. So let's get into the songs and learn a little bit more about the sexual subtype. So let me just remind you first that our passion, or our sin, whatever you want to call it, is envy. And our subtype is our instinct to handle life. It was usually developed very early on. And when we developed it, we needed it to survive in life. It's what keeps us secure, safe. So the social, they use the herd, they use the group to feel safe. Self-preserver uses those things. They go to those places, they ingest those things and digest them and get that stuff out and then go face the world with those things. We want the pair to connect with. And the pair can be not just a human. It could be a project. It could be the things that we love that we are just so committed to. You'll find that a lot of sexual fours will be people who champion specific things that they love. Whether it's musician, a band, an artist, a book, an author. They really, really get excited about what they've paired with. And so, because we are so passionate and intense, like really intense, I know this from experience, such intensity that I sometimes want to explode. It feels like I have climbed up to heaven, grabbed a few things up there, brought them down and wanted to show them to people. But we can also go down to hell because that intensity, when we don't get what we want, those things we're passionately driving towards, that searching isn't fulfilled with getting, it can hurt so dearly. So that's a long setup for the first song. I have forgiven you, Jesus. Whew. Morrissey speaks to the inflamed heart, the desires that aren't met. But Jesus hurt me when he deserted me. But I have forgiven you, Jesus, for all the desire you put in me, when there's nothing I can do with this desire. That refusing of suffering at some level in that song. What do I mean by that? Morrissey is blaming Jesus in a sense, and now has to forgive him for all this passion he put in, all of the desire he put into the heart of the singer in his life. He's now apologizing for having so much anger and frustration. So when the self-preserver gets hurt, rejected, abused, neglected, when their desires aren't met, they can take that out on the world, push it back on you. If a friend hurts me, and they often do, usually not out of intentionality, because I perceive something in a certain way, I don't want to feel deficient and small and weak and discarded and neglected and rejected. So my anger arises. And I start thinking, they suck. There's shit about them that I don't like. Fuck them. Fuck them. Now, the less healthy you are, the more likely you're going to gravitate towards that thought process and start withdrawing or attacking. The healthier you are, the more you will reckon with that demon inside and diminish your externalization of pain and suffer well and not compensate for your smallness, not try to spank the world and punish them. But we use anger and hostility pretty well. Like I've said before, that the sexual 4 is considered the most hostile of all of the 27 types. If there's 9 types and there's 3 subtypes for each, there's 27 types. So we are confused with the 8 a lot. And that is because we challenge, we put our aggression out there, we reduce suffering by putting the responsibility somewhere else, and we confront. We confront. Seinfeld says that if he was to sum up the human condition with one word, it would be confront. Well, us sexual 4s can do that well and go over the top with it when we aren't healthy. Jung says that when we build somebody up with this kind of inflation, when we inflate them, we endow the other person with greater importance from the start than they deserve. Because no human should actually have that much power over us, especially as we move into adulthood. As a child, your caregivers should really take care of you, and hopefully your environment does too. But these are the things we have to unlock. So when we are feeling hurt, we can get aggressive and we look like that 8, but even worse than the 8. Again, the sexual 4 can be considered the most ruthless and brutal. Why? Because we have an emotional bandwidth and emotional breadth and ability to layer our emotions and understand them well. And people share with us because we pair well. We really connect deeply. So a lot of people will share their most deep secrets, hurts, and pains. And we appreciate that. We get worth from that. But what happens when you hurt me? Well, now I have all this information. And now my instinct is to protect myself by pushing back, by being aggressive. And so, like I said, we can gut people like a fish. Go inside there and go, this is what your guts look like. This is who's hurt you. This is what your parents did to you. This is why that person broke up with you. This is the stuff you need to work on in your life, and you haven't done it really well. So get your shit together. It's hostile. And that is what we have to reckon with so that we can be kind and loving and share well back and forth and be trusted. Many of my friends have called this out over the years, and it has been in my primary work to love well and not attack when I feel hurt, even if it's just in my head, to calm those voices and to speak truth to them about the goodness of people. All right, let's move on to the second song. The song number 1 is I've Forgiven You, Jesus, for all of the desires you put inside of me when I can't do anything with these desires, right? This song about how much passion and intensity I want to put into the world, and I don't get back the same in return. Well, number 2 is about Schadenfreude. Do you know what that is? Might need to look it up. Schadenfreude is a complex emotional experience in which sympathy is taken away. The desire for people's harm. Not to harm them, but the hope that things screw up for them. It's Schaden, which is harm, and Freude, joy. Those 2 words together in German are joy when people are harmed. So our second song, I'm saying this with a smile, I shouldn't. But as sexual 4s, you already know where I'm going. Our desire for personal excellence leads us towards competitiveness. And when we feel small and deficient, we get competitive. If there's someone in the room that feels like they've got a bit more than us, we want to make them smaller by getting them onto our turf. This is where rivalries get built, and the power and submission fight starts. Can we surrender to being who we are, or will we seek power? The song is, "We hate it when our friends become successful." Now, don't lie. You do sometimes, don't you? You want them to be successful because you all want to rise together, but there's that thing inside of you that says, I still want to be the top dog, so I hope that they don't get too successful. Oh, look at those clothes. Now look at that face. It's so old. And such a video, well, it's really laughable. And if we can destroy them, you bet your life we will destroy them. And if we can hurt them, well, we may as well. Those are the actual lyrics. I would say that that's the ugliest side of Morrissey, but I think it's just true. If he truly is a 4, and he's tapping into his sexual part there, the one-on-one part, the intense part, he's realizing that this part of him is always there, that dark passenger is always there, where our ugly fantasies, where that kind of perpetrator mindset comes in, where we want somebody's ill so I can deny my own weakness and my own flaws. Competition dampens our pain and our envy. So we move into that competitive place, maybe just in our head or in our heart, but maybe actually in the moment, get into a real battle with somebody. So we shamefully can diminish others to make ourselves feel good. We all do that at some level, but the sexual 4 is really good at it. And we will take people onto our turf. When we feel like somebody has things that we don't have, yes, we will draw you there. We'll draw you to what we're good at, to our areas of strength and competency, because we'd rather be elite than charming. And so this is what we have to reckon with at Schadenfreude. Now, as I've grown, I think I've gotten better at it, but it is still there. It's still there. And so this is okay as long as we know it. And we keep on working at it. Do not move into a place in which you make yourself suffer by beating yourself up more. This is a cycle. When this pops up for you, then you attack yourself. You just suffer more. Just know in that moment, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I've just got to work through it. Be kind to yourself in those moments. Cool? Let's get to song number 3. I think song number 3 represents the best of us sexual 4s. It is about pairing. This is our namesake, the one-on-one, the sexual type. We want to engage. We want to get deep and intimate. And so we want to know who's going to be by our side. Who are the other halves? Who are the friends and significant others and siblings who we most connect with and we will want to engage with and walk through life with? And we will give you all kinds of tests. We will give you trials to see if you can live up to the standards that we have inside. We will seduce you a little bit. We often use a lot of eye contact, like this. I don't do it like that. We could be self-revelatory. We reveal a lot about ourselves and we bring you in. So if we share, hopefully you'll share and the bond gets closer. So it doesn't matter if we're at a bar. We could be sitting there with somebody and be pretty provocative. I don't mean like over the top, but just sharing pretty quickly. And then they share pretty quickly. And there's this comfort. Now this is an interesting moment where we can seduce people and drop them. Like people can get connected to us. And we're just being ourselves. We don't have a plan of really wanting to go deep with these people through life. So they get drawn in, we push away, because there is a neediness that we feel. So we have the drive to separate. This is pretty normal of us sexual fours, is that often we have to disembed ourselves from a situation in which we've gotten connected and now this person wants more than we can give them. And that can feel relieving to us to go like, oh, we don't have to have the pressure because we can only carry so many of these folks with us in life. So the song starts like this. It's called "To Me You Are a Work of Art." I live the life. I feel the pain. To sing this song, to tell this tale. I wish I never even heard the song. But then I look at you and I know that somewhere there's a someone who can soothe me. To me, you are a work of art, and I will give you my heart. We draw vital energy from people, from those intimate relationships, from the people and the things that we want to share with the world. Maybe it's a band, maybe it's an author, maybe it's some kind of a painter or artist, maybe it's a show that we've really engaged with. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul over and over and over again, probably 5 times through on each. There's an intimate relationship I have with that show. I just love to watch it. I could watch it repetitively. Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Used to be David Letterman for me back in the day. There was this relationship I built with the entertainment that went a little deeper than most people. It wasn't like, oh, I just watch a lot of different shows. I watch certain shows and that's it. And my level of critique is so high that I just deselect so many like a Lord. No, you will not do. You will not do. Oh, you will do. And I will share you with everyone I know and try to get them into it too. Because I want them to go deep with the things I love as well. And we accelerate relationships. We probe. We love stimuli, novel stimuli, the things that are interesting to us because we know that they're more unique than the other things we've seen. And so we'll sit back and wait for those things to come into our purview and maybe grab them when we see them. And we will also, after we have built these relationships, these deep connections, we will ask for what we want. We will solicit input. That kind of like, hey, can you give me information? Can you give me feedback? But we will also see things in life that we want. We'll go after them. And we'll use those pairings to help us in that journey. We want to be liked out of our strength and out of your strength. So we want you to see the real us as sexual force. But there is a testing that's going on. We're testing you a bit to see if you are comfortable with yourself. There is that kind of subtle hazing to see, do you have what it takes to walk with me in life, to be a partner? And again, this isn't necessarily romantic. This is why we will seduce sometimes and drop, because people just don't seem to have what it takes. So there is that natural 4 part that says, need me, want me. But we still want you to want us because of our flow. You like our flow. You want us because we've got something special, and you could tell we've worked hard for it. So that is, the part of us that just really shines is we have good, intimate relationships, especially when we're healthy. They can be volatile when we're not healthy. So that's the thing we have to work on for us, is when you are in a place in which you are having so much beef and issues with these pairings, you've got to work through that, because either you haven't chosen well, or you are bringing that dramatic person part of you, the emotional intensity that goes too far to this relationship. But the pair is a work of art to us. And we will give you our heart. We will give you our heart when we feel like the pairing is right. All right, next song and last song. Now, I don't know about you guys, but as a sexual 4, I love anthems. I love anthems in my music that just move towards a crescendo. It's that intensity that is inside of me that I want to match with something on the outside. So I feel pretty known when I hear an anthem. It's probably one of my favorite bands, it's the Killers, and they have anthems running throughout every album, a good 4 or 5 that just build, and I can match that intensity, and it gives me the stuff to fight the world with, to face the world with, as Bruce says. So I think this is an anthem of sorts by Morrissey. It's called Sing Your Life. Sing your life. The things that you love and the things that you loathe. Because he knows we love deeply and we loathe deeply. There's a lot of shit we do not like in this world, as fours in general. And we will tell you if you ask us. Others sang your life, but now is the chance to shine and have the pleasure of saying what you mean. I think we help people do this. This one-on-one nature of ours. We join with people and we show them what's the best in them. I think we're pretty good at this. Like, there's a part of us that doesn't want them to feel too much more powerful than us. But when we're healthy, we'll give that away. We will give that away. We'll see what you've got, and we want to help you get more of it. We're impressively serious and relentless. That's why we have that kind of anthem inside of us. We're driven, and we don't dishonor our wiring usually. Especially as we get healthier and understand more of who we are, we don't dishonor that wiring. We see something in ourselves and we want to put it out into the world. The parts of us that are marred and broken, we want to get back to healing and get back to wholeness. And I think we do that pretty well. We know that we are a snowflake, a unique snowflake, a butterfly. And we want to find the uniqueness inside of ourselves and put that out there. And so we go first. We often go first into the fire of emotions. And we'll do that publicly. I think we are the counter type. The counterphobic type. The counter type is the self-preserver. We're the counterphobic type. Just to explain that, the counter type is the one that isn't like the others, and that is the self-preserver. They hide their suffering a bit more, and the social and the sexual put it out there more, and the self-preserver is a long sufferer. So that was a tangent, but wanted to explain myself. The counterphobic type, when they experience rejection, pain, fear, what do? We go out and pursue either confrontation or attack or get competitive. And so we go first. We see the problem, we see the pain inside of ourselves, and if it's about purpose, it's about getting what we want, we will go after it. We don't shy away. And we have a radar dish that just has this frequency where we're trying to suck in the intense, exalted moments in life, the stuff that is in heaven, that we go up there, like I said before, we peek up there. We know we're not allowed to be there yet, but we grab a few things, we pull them down, get our pockets full, and we go back down into earth, and we share it with the world. Go, look at all this good shit that I just found up there. Where'd you get it? I don't know. I've just been foraging around, and I'm going to show you this stuff. And people are pretty impressed by what we give them. Now, of course, we also know how to descend into hell, so we're going to take people with us there too. Yeah. But ultimately, now that we've brought this stuff down, we showed people it, we get them inspired, we get them psyched about themselves. And this is where we sell people well on themselves. It's one of my favorite things to do as a therapist, is to sell people on themselves, to show them the stuff that is heavenly, that is not necessarily from here. It kind of has that mystical vibe, like you've got a thing, and you don't know you've got this thing, and let me show you this thing. I'll end with just a connecting song. One of my favorite songs of all time, a song that has saved my life, brought me through a lot of hardship, is a song called Sing by this band called Travis. For the love you bring won't mean a thing if if you don't sing. Oof. It is one of those inspiring songs that I get together with one of those pairs in life, one of those friends while we're driving in the car or going out to a bar, and we will sing it. We will sing it loud because singing is one of those exalted moments that we can do together. That's why I've wanted to incorporate music into this process. That as you explore yourself, you go find the music that is going to help you face the world. And that is going to help you understand yourself as a 4, whatever your subtype. So I've enjoyed our time together. Don't refuse to suffer the necessary stuff. From here, we go everywhere. And that is the cool part of our journey together, is we can do it as a pair. So subscribe if you can. Hit that bell so you know when I put out new stuff, because I will continue to put out new stuff. And I hope you've gotten something from this. I hope you learned yourself a little bit. As Rilke says, everything is yet to be done. Everything. All right, guys. Have a great one. See you later.